I just don't understand why, like, this fucking, the shit that people say. We've talked about slang, like how stupid fucking common slang is, but I think shit talking, like giving each other shit, is getting dumber. Like, last night was a Mayweather McGregor fight, right?
Yeah.
And it was a great fight. Conor showed up. I didn't expect him to win, but he showed up. He actually landed more punches than Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Who's a boxer.
I think everyone can agree that it was a lot more entertaining than everyone thought it would be.
Yeah.
And it was an actual match. It wasn't just
fight.
like...
Yeah, it was a good fight. He nothing for him to hang his head about. But today, literally seeing people race baiting online about, like, oh, you white people are real mad. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, what does being white have to do with anything?
I didn't even know that was happening.
I know. And then there's the people going, oh, white people real salty. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, not to, like, just, like, completely jump, but again, I'm seeing salty somewhere else. So this weekend was the players weekend for baseball. So everybody was allowed to wear, like, a special, like, off-color jersey, and they had a different hat, and they were allowed to wear whatever shoes they wanted, socks they wanted, gloves they wanted, and they had a nickname on the back of their jersey instead of their normal name. A lot of people got really mad. As a Yankee fan, I like the fact that we only have 2 jerseys, and we've only ever had 2 jerseys. Okay. But if the young kids want to put their nickname on the back of their jersey, what the fuck ever. But, of course, people are really excited that the weekend's over and they're ready to go back to normal pinstripes at home, which I'm totally cool with. But then I see somebody post something on the win. We won the game today. The Yankees won, beat the Mariners. A good game. It was 10-1, so it was
wow.
good for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So, but, of course, somebody posts on the thing, hey, I'm really glad these nickname jerseys are over. These were stupid. And the first fucking comment is a gif of French fries and somebody sprinkling salt on them, and it says, you salty? And I feel like there's just no effort at all anymore. Like, so in the course of 24 hours, I've enjoyed. I wanted McGregor to win, but I knew he wouldn't. Like, right. I knew he wouldn't. It's not that I care one way or the other, really, because it's a boxing match, and McGregor really has no business boxing somebody who's won 49 in a row.
Yeah,
but it was still entertaining.
Yeah.
So I went from watching that and being like, hey, it was entertaining. The guy I wanted to win didn't win, but it was still fun to watch. And then this morning, watching the Yankees just beat the piss out of the Mariners. Really, the Mariners beat the piss out of themselves. They had like 5 errors. It was terrible.
No, but
instead of being able to enjoy those on both posts on Facebook, it's just people calling each other salty and race baiting. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to good old-fashioned shit talking that wasn't just like stupid? Like, just really stupid.
Well, first of all, communicating in GIFs might have, deteriorated it a bit, like made it a bit less.
I'm sure that's part of it, but I think that there is a way to do it in a funny way. But I don't understand why salty, like why that's a funny thing to say to people. You salty, bro? You salty? Your saline levels are high, or your sodium levels are what?
I remember the first time I heard "you mad, bro."
Yeah,
I was playing. You remember DoD Source?
Yes.
I was playing like an orange. Remember the orange maps?
Yeah.
And it was just like me and a friend and maybe like a few other people.
Yeah.
And like one of the people was like kept getting killed by a guy like sniping from across the map.
Yeah.
Which is typical.
Stop camping.
Yeah. And the guy was like, of course he only was speaking in text.
Yeah.
And he was like, God damn it, why you keep blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the guy like has the mic, and it's the classic like, if you don't have a mic and you're like trying to shit talk against the guy with a mic, it's not gonna work.
It's not a good idea.
Because he just kept saying "you mad," and I was like, "What?
God.
What does that mean?"
It means I'm lazy.
And then it became a thing. I mean, obviously he didn't start it, but I mean, it like after that, I started seeing it everywhere, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I feel like that was like, maybe it was like video games, maybe it was like FPSs and COD that started all that lazy.
No, because the "you mad, bro" thing was a big thing with Richard Sherman of the Seahawks. It was a big thing with him.
But that long ago, like 10 years ago?
No, but that was just 4 or 5 years ago, and still keeping it going. And I don't understand it. Like,
oh yeah, it's still,
if you want to talk some shit, talk some shit. The best thing about sports and video games and things like that is the ability to give each other good old fashioned ribbing. But have some fucking pride and come up with something somewhat interesting. Just telling me, "You mad, bro? You salty?" I mean, between you salty and you jelly over what the fuck, man?
It makes you sound like a bigger idiot than the person you're making fun of. God, usually.
There needs to be like some sort of course online, like basic shit talking for dummies. It's just fucking. I hate everything.
Let's go to the music. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 22 of the Unreasonably Angry Podcast. My name is Gary.
My name is Eric.
And how are you fuckers doing this week? It was fight night last week. We enjoyed it on last
Two
night.
nights ago. Because it's Monday.
Oh, right. It was fight night on Saturday.
There you go.
It was Game of Thrones season finale last night. That was awesome, by the way.
It better fucking be
I did not
awesome.
see any of that coming.
Right? Yeah.
We're patiently waiting to go watch it.
Yeah.
This is not a live podcast.
Patiently, my ass.
No, we got to see it on your new 4K TV. I don't know if it wasn't in 4K.
No, the fight wasn't shown in 4K, but it definitely, like, honestly, I liked my plasma TV just fine. Like, it was it's a good TV. It's now in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But stepping up to a 4K OLED was
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I've had I'm not like going on a humble brag or anything, but I've had like Samsung phones for a while.
Sure.
So I've seen OLED
Yeah.
screens, and it was weird because like the first time I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that's like my phone, but like way bigger."
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's got that really like bright vividness
Yeah.
and the huge dynamic range, and like it's really bright. And yeah, anyway.
It's funny growing up the way that I grew up with like not having really nice TVs, and you're used to trying to turn the brightness up. And on this TV, I'm like having to turn the brightness down.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But no, the fight. So it was fight night. Now, we don't talk a ton of sports on the show, even though I'd love to.
Yeah.
But we don't talk a ton of sports. But this was a big event.
It's a good introduction to talking some, because
Yeah,
like,
and-
there are events like this that happen where it's like it doesn't happen every day, and it's
Now, if we had been doing this last year, we definitely would have talked Cubs World Series. I'm sure we'll talk
Yes,
Super Bowl
that's true.
stuff. So,
Yeah. So for people who don't give a shit, basically, Conor McGregor of MMA world is he's the first to hold 2 titles in 2 different divisions
simultaneously at the same time,
which is pretty awesome. And he challenged one of the biggest boxers of
all time, really. I
All
mean,
time?
people, depending on who you ask.
Is really?
Yeah, he really
Like up against
he's
Tyson
he's
and-
50-0. Well, I mean, Tyson lost some fights, like some big fights. Mayweather's never lost. Now,
Wow.
depending on who you ask, some people feel that Mayweather doesn't deserve to be called the best ever because he didn't always fight the best fighters in their prime. But
Yeah.
when you're 49-0, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can argue. Some people don't like him because he's a bit too much of a defensive fighter. Last night Saturday night he actually fought more offensively, more aggressively, which made it an interesting fight.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you ask.
And I've never watched boxing before.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So it's like, Conor, this is my first boxing.
Yeah, right?
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And because I've seen Conor in the octagon before, and
Yeah.
it's always entertaining.
Always entertaining. Even in a loss. Like when he lost to Diaz the first time, it was still very entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, it was still fun to watch.
He puts on a show.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Which is what we expected. Both guys are big talkers. Both guys have a lot of sass. As you
Yeah.
But-
So the first thing that got on your nerves, and then by proxy my nerves, because
Yeah.
I just kind of follow you with this stuff. But we were noticing that Mayweather would get into like a position that would have Conor hitting the back of his head,
Yeah.
or at least like punching around the back
Yeah.
of his head. And some of them would land like on the back of his neck,
Yeah.
and the ref would like split them up and
Yep.
say, "Hey, Conor, stop that!"
Yeah.
And then kind of less aggressively tell Mayweather to keep his head up, which was bullshit, because that's what he was doing. He was putting his head down and letting that happen.
It was I think the line that I said last night. Fuck it, last night, because it was last night.
Yeah, whatever.
Was that he was little spooning. I mean, Mayweather was little spooning a lot.
Yeah.
He was like backing up into
Yeah, that's
Mayweather.
the thing. It
into
wasn't
McGregor.
just that. He would also turn around like completely.
Well, that's what I mean. Little spoon. You'd have them spooning behind you. You don't
Yeah.
face to face spoon.
Right. That's a whole other position.
But no, the thing is they're. There was no way in my mind. Don't get me wrong. Mayweather's a better boxer than McGregor. That's
Yeah.
not a question. Like, even if you're a McGregor fan, that's not a question. McGregor showed up better than anyone would have expected him to. There were people out there saying he wasn't going to land one clean punch the whole fight, which
he
I don't
did
understand.
in like the first 30 seconds.
Yeah. I actually thought that he won a few rounds, which again is very impressive. It's not, people, it's pretty bad when what you're impressed by is him landing 20% of his punches. I'm like, regardless of the thing, he didn't belong in the ring with him.
Yeah.
He did. He showed up. He put on a good fight. He had a lot of heart. But kind of like I said, what pissed me off about the whole thing was instead of at the end of it, everybody being able to respect each other the way the fighters did at the end, where they're like, hey, he was a lot better than I expected, and this is a better fight than I expected, and he brought out the best of me, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's turning to, oh, you fucking McGregor fans, see, you shouldn't have been da-da-da-da. And that's fine for the most part because I'm used to it. But it's like, A, just respect the fact they both stepped in there and they both did a good job. B, understand that realistically, McGregor's never had a professional boxing match, and that would be the same as me getting in there as far as boxing goes. Now, I know he did some amateur boxing and he's done MMA, but people are giving him no chance because he's never had a boxing match. For him to do that was impressive. For Floyd to win 15-0 is very impressive. Mm-hmm. But for them at the end of it to go, hey, you know what? That was fun. We both had fun. Conor was able to jokingly at the end of it go, well, I mean, I know you guys are expecting me to be embarrassed, but I've been choked out on TV before, so this is not a big deal.
Yeah.
But then people turn around and start making it a race thing is what really disappoints me. Like, I understand that's just where we're at, where people just got to make race about everything. But it's like in a time where we could just all come together, no matter who you are, and enjoy a sport, enjoy a spectacle, to go, oh, you white boys. I'm like, no, nothing had anything. It wasn't even in my brain at all. All I was thinking was, hey, these are two fighters. It's a big fight. I didn't expect McGregor to last into the 10th round. I just wanted to watch something interesting, and it was interesting. So I don't get this need to like. I don't talk some shit. Talk some shit.
What are people saying? What about race? Like, how did they bring it into it?
Well, first off, some people just assumed if you're white, you're rooted for McGregor, which I think is weird. Like, I think.
Well, it seemed like it for people who are actually invested in it, like who are actually interested in sports, and not just like, oh, someone I know is into sports, so I'll just watch this. Yeah. Which basically is what I did. But
there were a lot of people that's the whole point. There were a lot of people that were watching that are normal sports fans.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the most like contention I think was between boxing fans and MMA fans. Like, and to make it about a race thing, that's just like.
But like I said, that's kind of what my issue with it was. And the thing is, I feel like that's something that.
But
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't understand
why
all
white people are rooting for the white guy and all black people rooting for the black guy.
Unfortunately, that's the thing I'm seeing on social media, and it's really disappointing. And I'm really hoping that's the minority of things, no pun intended.
Or just
I'm really hoping that it's one of those things where there's people that are out there that just feel the need to make everything and stoke a weird fire. But for me, I got up this morning, and normally, like when McGregor lost to Diaz, I was bummed. Like the first time, I was like, it sucks. I mean, I said, he stepped up 2 weight classes. It was a big fight, blah, blah, blah. But I was bummed.
Yeah.
I wasn't bummed. I said, you know what? He did a good job. I didn't expect him to win. Mayweather is 50-0 for a reason. They both respect each other after the fight. I had more respect for both guys after. Yeah. Which is hard to say because I'm not really a big Mayweather fan. Not because he's black and not because he's a boxer, because he beat his wife. Like, for me, that makes it hard for me to root for you. Yep. You know what I mean? I'm like, it makes me go, ugh. Just yucky. Yeah. But at the same time, I can respect him for what he's good at. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess...
and this isn't the first time I've heard you say that about an athlete.
No.
Like, it seems like it's almost commonplace today, which is awful. Like one out of, one person on every team or, one person in every sport has had some sort of... Or, a few people in the music industry. It's like, why is this a common thing? Why do people just accept that people can just basically get away with this stuff?
Well, okay, so that's the thing.
And depending on who you are, by millions of people.
It really depends on who you are. And people like to say, oh, if it was this person to be this way, and if it was this person to be that way. But when it comes to domestic violence and it comes to things like that in sports, it's an interesting conversation that people have. It's a very volatile conversation because there are people that never want to see that person compete again if they've done that. There's people that go, okay, well, has he served his time? Has he paid for it? It's such a tough thing because some people feel like you can never pay enough, and then there's people that are like, you need to serve at least this amount of time. The story is, and he went to jail for it, so it's not allegedly, but supposedly he beat the crap out of his girlfriend or his wife in front of his kid, and his kid actually wrote a letter explaining everything. So for me, it was like, ugh.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And it's not that it's because I mean, I've had players. I'm a 49er fan, and I've had Tremaine Brock. We cut him this year because of a domestic violence accusation, and we just cut him from the team.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it. The tough part is now getting those kind of charges to stick. You know, a lot of times the people won't cooperate with the police because they don't want to go along with it and all that. So, but yeah, I don't expect every sports fan to feel the way that I do, but it's hard for me to root for someone if I'm like, and I try not to bring moral into it, but there's a couple things for me that make it really difficult. Hitting women, kids, like stuff like that just makes it really tough for me to want you to see you succeed. Cause I'm like,
ethics in sports seem like just messy business. Like it doesn't always, it's never clear cut. Like whether it's domestic violence, drug use, steroids, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I love that what Bill Burr said about Neil Armstrong. Lance Armstrong.
He's just doing a line of coke on the moon.
Neil Armstrong taking steroids to deal with the G-force.
Exactly.
No, he basically said like, yeah, he took steroids, but so did everyone else who like came after him. So he like our roided up guy beat your roided up guy.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's the tough part. But the thing that's funny is
where do you draw the line? Like,
well, that's the thing. If you're a non-sports fan, you just put them all together and they go, they're a bunch of cheaters or they're a bunch of women beaters. And the thing is, it's like, okay, well, are you going to feel the same way about actors that you like? Do we not enjoy Iron Man?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing is like, what's the statute of limitations? Why was it okay for Robert Downey Jr. to do all the crazy stuff he did? Yeah. But then you have somebody like Mel Gibson that nobody ever wants to forgive.
And that's weird because you're right. It's like it's this double standard sometimes. I
think it's a matter
of people praise Robert Downey Jr. for making a comeback, quote unquote. But Mel Gibson like is still, a tarnished name in most households. And
the thing is I'm not here to say you should do this or you should like this person. I think really what it boils down to is who you like and like if you like their personality, whether or not you're willing to give them a second chance. Yeah. It's a really strange thing we as a people have where we literally will determine how quickly we forgive someone based off how we feel about them. Mm-hmm. Two people could do the exact same crime, but because we may like someone more than the other, we find some weird reason to excuse it.
Or project our own circumstances and experiences onto it.
Well, that's the thing is for me, I grew up in a household that did have some domestic violence. And so for me, domestic violence is one of the things that is really tough for me to let go of because I can't get on board. I can't. I'm not saying anybody wants to get on board, but you know what I mean? Like I literally, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Which I think, I don't know if it sounds ignorant or naive, but I think that people who haven't experienced it should listen to the people who have. Like if the people who have experienced something, whether it's domestic violence or whatever, they're the ones who can empathize, right? Yeah. So the people who are sympathizing should listen to them and kind of like if they want to give the judgment or like what they think should happen, then they should listen to them. Yeah. They should say like, I think they shouldn't play again because I don't think it's excusable. I lived through something like that. And I don't think they should, if they're going to continue that sort of behavior, I don't think they should represent like my team.
Well, and I think it's the other thing is if it's a team sport and it's one person out of the 50 that you have that feeling against, whereas if it's a boxing match, it's that one person. Yeah. Like right now you have John Jones from UFC who got busted for steroids again. I mean, it's the second time getting popped for steroids. He also got busted for a hit and run while on coke. So, I mean, like, it's really difficult to like the guy. Yeah, and the thing is he is hands down one of, if not the best fighter in UFC of all time. Yeah. But he makes shitty decisions and he seems to be just dumb. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're throwing away this career, this future, this opportunity that people would kill for because you can't be.
It's disappointing.
And so depending on who you are, like, I'm not saying that I forgive it, but people are really weird about it. Like they really, that's fucking weird.
It makes me wonder, like, I'm sure this is like people have thought about this, but like, when you have like someone get famous or get like power, like Bill Clinton, say, and then something happens that like is irresponsible and shows lack of character or just like stupidity. It makes you wonder, like, if they're gaining the power and the fame and the money and everything is what led to that decision, or if they're just the type of person to make those stupid decisions from the get-go.
You really should have said Bill Clinton.
I know, and like you've voiced your opinions about that very loudly.
The thing is
I don't think you've talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, yet. I don't want to get into like political shit too much. I personally, my issue with Bill Clinton is, and I get that people are going to go with their first instinct is, who cares? He cheated on his wife. That's none of our business. Okay, if that's how you feel, fine. What I don't like is, A, it's still a shitty thing to do. I've heard people use that exact thing to take down someone like Rudy Giuliani. He cheated on his wife while she was dying, or while she was cheated on his wife. It's a shitty thing to do, period. Okay. Yeah. What I don't like about Bill Clinton in that situation was I didn't like that he lied under oath about it. That's my main problem. I go, if you were a normal person and you were in a courtroom and you lied under oath and you were caught, that'd be perjury. And when you're the president of the United States, I feel like it should be a big deal.
Well, it's still perjury.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like...
I'm not saying he didn't do good things as a president, but that's the thing for me is like, it's really easy if you're a Democrat to go, I really liked Bill Clinton. You know, it doesn't matter that he did this. That sucks. He should have done that, but he did so many great things that I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a Republican, you look at that and go, I don't care about any good things that he did because he was this shitty because of this. Well, and so it's again goes back to where our loyalties lie. And as someone who's neither a Democrat or Republican, I sit in the middle and go, well, yeah, he had some good policies, but that was pretty fucked up shit to do too. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like there were people that literally got, like, I haven't done a ton of research, but when I was a kid, I remember McClellan Air Force Base was near our house, and there was somebody that got removed for, I was cheating on his wife for something in the military because it's actually against like the military code. Like it's part of it. Now I may be full of shit. I didn't actually look that up. But I remember that was a story. And so it was just kind of like weird, like, well, if that military person is held to that and he's the commander in chief, like those are the questions that pop up in my head.
Yeah.
And again, it's not important. Like, is it really important that he jizzed on some chick? No. But is it important that you lied under oath? Yes. And so that's where, again, do I think it's the biggest deal in the world to negate all the positives that he did? No. But it's funny how some people just go, fuck, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Again,
well, it's consciously or subconsciously creating a divide between how you view their personal whatever, like scandals and stuff, and their policies and their legacy and what they did in office. Like if you can just say like, I don't care that he did that because it has nothing to do with all the good things he did for the country and for whatever. So, but the issue that you brought up, which is important, is that when he was testifying about it and when he lied about it, that is part of the presidency. Like that's part of his legacy. Yeah. That's not personal anymore. That's not like something that happens off the record. Now it's on the record. And it should matter, but people just still decided that it didn't.
Yeah, and the thing is I definitely wonder how different things would have been during Bush's presidency, during Clinton's presidency, during Bush 1's presidency if we had Facebook, Twitter. Like things may have been very, very different.
Oh yeah,
but at the same time, I mean, that's the thing is if you think about it though, those kind of things they tend to be overlooked for whatever reason. I mean, JFK is notorious. Like that's his big story is that he banged Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, he's simultaneously famous for that and famous for everything else that he did.
Yeah,
so it's
and
like
the thing is
everyone
funny
knows about it.
Yeah, and it's funny how we pick it. Whereas if you were to talk about a basketball player or a baseball player who has kids with 3 different women in different cities, he'd be looked at as a scumbag. Yeah. Like, oh, while he's on the road, he's banging other chicks. What a piece of shit. But if the president does it because it's Marilyn Monroe, you're like, well, it's not so big a deal. He's JFK. Yeah. So I think it's funny. Like, and I'm not picking on Democratic presidents because we could start on Trump, but everybody. That's a fucking snowball. Everybody's already there. We don't have to like.
We don't have to catch you up on that.
But anyway, let's get to some. Let's get to some funny shit. Let's lighten it up a bit.
All right. So,
you broke down.
Yeah. We have a Twitter. Our handle is at @the_UAP.
God. It feels like we're burying a friend.
Please follow us. Our first. What the hell was that?
Not entirely sure.
Oh, fuck you.
God damn it, Alexa.
She hasn't been connected to Wi-Fi for a long time.
She's taking it out on you, man.
Our first tweet is, Twitter, we really don't care about you, but you're too good of a marketing tool to pass up. Hashtag fuck hashtags.
Yes, we are going to be gigantic hypocrites.
That basically sums it up. We're going to put a bunch of hashtags and post new episodes on Twitter and hope that more people follow and like us and listen to us.
Yeah, we're gonna completely sell out on our principles to try to get more people to listen to the podcast.
So the reason, I mean, why don't we like Twitter? Because some people are out there probably who use Twitter all the time and are like, why don't you like it? What's wrong with it? Blah, blah, blah. And I think the main reason for me is that I never understood the necessity for it to exist. I never understood why we needed one part of Facebook on just one website. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. I still don't understand that. But I get how it's a different world. Like, it's the character limit like breeds a certain type of sense of humor, kind of. Like, I've see some comedians. I can't talk today. I see some comedians use it in a interesting way to like make funny, punchy like jokes that are like are more biting and have more of an impact because they're shorter, which is cool. My
big thing, honestly, the reason I don't generally like Twitter, I think it's a serious reason why it's not funny.
Okay.
I mean, the funny version is people are stupid, and it just shows how stupid people are way too easily. You don't have to go to somebody's Facebook now. Like, you can just look at their Twitter handle. Like, you can see it without being friends with them or anything. Whereas if somebody's stupid on Facebook, generally you have to be friends with them to be like, wow, what a moron. But on Twitter, like, if you're friends with someone, or if you're following Bill Burr, or you're following Louis C.K., or you're following Comedy Bang Bang, and somebody's a dumb shit, you can just see the dumb shit things that they say to Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah.
So the joke answer, the silly answer, is that I can see how stupid people are much easier.
Yeah.
The real answer is that I don't like how easy it is for people to be shitty to each other. It's given the people to be the ability to be shitty to like celebrities and other people in a way. Like, if you were shitty on someone's Facebook, generally speaking, a celebrity's not going to monitor their own Facebook. And if they do, it's really easy to filter the shit out. They can block you, whatever. I know you can block on Twitter, but that's not the point that I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy for someone to go on and be really hateful and shitty to people on Twitter with no repercussions whatsoever.
Yeah, there aren't any.
Like, basically, like, I think it was during football season last year, something happened where a kicker missed a kick or got hurt or something and complained. Yeah. And people go on there like, I hope you die. And I understand people were saying that anyway, but to be able to like go in and like at someone or... Is that what it is? You're adding them?
Mention them. Yeah.
So basically that person now can just easily go to you and say, hey, Gary, I hope you die.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm still of the opinion that words really shouldn't be, like, I don't take words and cry about them. I understand a lot of people are more sensitive to words.
Yeah.
And being able to harass someone that way, that easy online is just, I think it's stupid. I
think
it's a fucking waste.
It makes it really easy.
Yeah. If you wanted to be a dickhead before, you had to write to their fan club and a letter would come in the mail.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you can just be like, hey, you suck, you fucking piece of shit. And it's like, whoa. Yeah. And the celebrity can't respond.
No. Well, that's the thing. So like Twitter, I think out of all social media platforms, is the most synonymous with vile
cesspool is what it usually
cesspool of hatred. Yeah. I mean, besides 4chan, but celebrities don't have 4chan accounts,
not that,
and it's all anonymous.
So the other thing is, you have Twitter gets used for everything. Like, if you go on CNN, people are using Twitter. Our goddamn fucking president uses Twitter like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. And I know people are like, well, if you don't like it, don't use it. I don't. So our podcast does. I am being a giant fucking hypocrite, and fully aware of it.
And we're like, we're being completely honest when we say it is literally just a marketing tool. Like, I'm bearing like everything. I'm being completely honest.
We will say we are going to try to make an attempt.
And we're gonna make fun things. Yeah, maybe I'll you can laugh at.
Maybe I'll live tweet myself taking a dump. I mean, who knows? People are into that stuff, right? I don't know.
Well, just do stupid. Like, I like the joke accounts. There are plenty of those. Like, you've seen the last Blockbuster.
Yes, that's a real thing, right?
Yeah, it's really funny. But To go back to the hatred thing, we won't stay on that for too long because it's kind of negative and not fun to talk
Well, and
about.
we're not trying to get into the boo hoo. Oh, people are mean to each other. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to be a fucking dickhead, be a dickhead. But don't be a dickhead on a social platform and be a piece of shit so everybody can see you being a piece of shit.
Well, so a good example is one of the comedians, improv comedians, who was on Comedy Bang Bang towards the beginning and hasn't been on it lately. James Adomian. The reason he hasn't been on Comedy Bang Bang for a while is because he's trying to get podcast networks to pay talent to be on it, to actually give them a salary. Because right now they almost all just do it for free and like publicity. Yeah. But the thing is, like, reoccurring guests on Comedy Bang Bang, shows like Comedy Bang Bang, will be on for like, hundreds of episodes, and they don't get paid for any of it. So they're after a while, it's kind of a job, and they're not getting paid.
Sure.
So
at the most, you get money from advertisers and sponsors, and even that's not a whole lot.
Right. So he's basically boycotting podcasts, or has been for a while, and he came out of the dark recently and was on Comedy Bang Bang again for the first time in a long time. But what's happened with him is that his social media presence has infamously become him being a total jerk. And really the reason is because he's been very vocal about this idea that people should be paid to be on podcasts. And a lot of people don't agree with it because it ends up with people like him boycotting, and they don't hear them anymore. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing they can do to get the networks to pay them. Sure. So he's had to like shut down a bunch of people who are shutting him down. And so what happens is, like, recently a Redditor tweeted him about like asking when they would hear from him next or something. Just a really innocent question that was not supposed to be sarcastic or backhanded or anything. And then James Adomian like replies, what kind of C word are you? The nice one or the sarcastic one or something like that. He called him a C word just out of nowhere. And the Redditor,
and if you're wondering why we don't use that word on the show, it's not that I don't enjoy the word enough. It's that we have enough people that have requested not to hear that word regularly that we're going to do our best to save that one for when you get to hang out with us in person.
Sure. It's not like, I mean, there's no reason to
it rhymes with punt.
Right.
We could just say punt.
Yeah.
Wait, what kind of punt are you?
So we say, what kind of punt are you? Are you like no, but it's like, so the Redditor was like, what the hell? Why? I mean, like, I was just asking a question. Yeah. But I see
who's the punt now?
I see both sides. Like, it's got to be frustrating for celebrities to deal with that all the time. And you hear like when you hear them in interviews and they'll say like, I don't even look anymore. I don't even look at replies because I know that every fifth one is going to be someone spewing hatred my way for no reason. Yeah. And like, it's really frustrating that just happens without any, like you said, without any repercussions.
Yeah.
Without
and occasionally,
any occasionally, if that happened on Facebook enough, like if there's a huge group. Yeah, maybe not.
No,
it wouldn't matter.
If you think about it, there are some repercussions. Now, God, we're like all over. This is a very political episode today. Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just realizing, like, wow, we were like the first 10, 15 episodes. We don't try to get political, but hey, we're like, fuck, let's just jump into this. Bitch.
Yeah, we were literally like before we started talking about Twitter, we were like,
Twitter's fault.
We're gonna talk about something like funnier, and then we end up talking about people calling each other punts. I guess that's
so
whatever.
No, there are some repercussions. So there are some athletes that will go back at people, and that shit cracks me up. If you do it the right way, it's actually really
like report
funny.
them and block them.
No, I've actually seen some athletes tweet back at people like busting their balls, like taking the time to actually bust their balls, which is actually it's interesting and it's refreshing to see, as long as you do it smart.
Yeah.
The other thing is you do have so let me go back to what I was saying before. I think the hatred that we spew on social media is really irresponsible and really fucking stupid, right? I just think it's dumb.
Yeah.
That being said, I also think that we've grown an increased sensitivity to words. I mean, I grew up with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? Now, we all know that's bullshit. Like, words do hurt. But at the same time, like, you should have a somewhat of a shell that's able to take some and not, like, let it affect you. You really shouldn't care that much what a stranger thinks about you. At least I don't. And if somebody's walking by and says, "Hey, Eric, you fat ass," I'm like, okay, go fuck yourself. It doesn't affect me. Some people aren't that way. Some people hear, "Hey, Gary, you're fat." You're like, "What the fuck, man? I'm really trying." And that affects you. And that's fine if that affects you. But my point being is we are a little bit more sensitive to words than we ever have been before.
Yeah.
That being said, it could also be a product of the fact that we are able to have people call us a fat ass on so many other methods than just saying fat ass to your face.
Like they're gonna woof you.
Yeah, they're
gonna
fat
ass.
Ching, ching. Yeah. So but then I think that maybe that's part of it. But there was a situation with what's her face? Leslie Jones. Remember Leslie Jones?
Yeah.
She's the
remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people like her. Some people think she's funny. Some people think she's
I've never
a hack.
thought she was funny, but that's irrelevant.
No, there are some things that she's done that I think are fun. The skit with her and Louis C.K. where they're working in the Sprint store, I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
Because he's basically pretending he talks super hoodish and he doesn't.
Yeah, that was funny.
I thought it was funny. She got a bunch of shit for, I'm trying to remember what it was. She got Milo Yiannopoulos, that alt-right guy. He's like the gay British.
Oh yeah.
Breitbart guy. Like he's way out there. He does some wild shit. And apparently something happened where and we could look this up to get exact details, but she said something and then his people said something about her, and then like he basically got all his followers to go on and like talk shit to her because she was complaining about racism against her for being in the Ghostbusters movie.
Okay.
And so, but she actually got him banned from Twitter, which I didn't think was a thing.
Really?
For just because of words, because of the things they said back and forth, because they said he was using it in a terroristic fashion.
Oh.
Because he got his Milo Mafia or whatever to like attack her.
Milo Mafia.
Let's take a quick pause real quick and look this up so we can actually be specific.
Okay. First of all, I hate websites that automatically play videos while you're trying to read an article.
Yeah, autoplay is
If
really
you're going to have an
annoying.
article that's fucking text, why would you start playing a video while I'm trying to read your own fucking article? Anyway. So basically, like you said, Milo, whatever the fuck, I don't care to... Yiannopoulos. I'll call him Milo Punt. How about that?
This is the only reason you should know this guy's name though, and we can come back to this.
I've heard of him before.
That's the guy who was going to go speak in Berkeley and in Seattle.
Really?
And then people rioted.
Oh, of course they did.
They went to the campus and they were throwing things through windows and they were threatening him. That was him.
Oh, where the guy got shot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you go watch any of his videos, I don't understand, why you would take anything he said serious enough to want to go punch each other over it.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is if somebody's going to say things that I don't agree with, I just don't listen to it.
It was like Alex Jones. When he visited Seattle, he just got some coffee poured on him.
I think that's
people wouldn't take him seriously. So he basically said like the shit about Ghostbusters and that she shouldn't have been in the movie, blah blah blah. And then Leslie said, "You've been reported. I hope they lock your account." And then one of the founders of Twitter, the Twitter CEO, responded to her and said to DM him with the situation. And then they made a statement referring to their conduct policy, which is I was wondering about what their conduct policy was. And they said that Twitter does not tolerate behavior that crosses the line into abuse, including behavior that harasses, intimidates, or uses fear to silence another user's voice.
Sure.
Which is basically what we're talking about.
Yep.
That happens all the time.
Yep.
Without any repercussions.
Yep.
The only reason this was, acted upon is just because it's more public.
The sheer volume of it as well.
Yeah.
Now, the cross side to that, what I thought was interesting. Now, the shitty part is I had to click Breitbart to see this, which really fucking annoys me.
Delete all your history, throw it in bury it.
They went back through some of Leslie Jones's tweets, and some of them were pretty racist on her side. And so I'm like,
probably.
Oh no, literally, like one of them was just white folks. Like, I was like,
what?
Get the fuck out of here! White boy is the best DJ. What the fuck? And so I'm kind of like,
what?
Yeah, that was one of her tweets. So
Okay.
I'm like, both of you guys say stupid shit.
Yeah.
You say stupid shit. He says stupid shit. He had a bunch of idiots that follow him that decided they were going to say stupid shit to her.
So Twitter apparently their line, and this is a quote, the line is they don't tolerate behavior that crosses the line into abuse.
Yeah.
That harasses, intimidates, or uses fear to silence another's voice. Which, I mean, is most of Twitter. Like,
well, and that's the thing is where's the line over somebody saying something stupid enough where you go, you know what? Maybe they just shouldn't say that though. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the thing is
it would almost be like if Reddit like got rid of downvoting.
But the thing is, if you think about it, Reddit they have banned a bunch of subreddits.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there are subreddits who use their subreddit style to remove the downvote button.
Yeah.
And you can't downvote someone if you don't know the right hotkey. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's just
oh
like
god, if Facebook had a downvote button,
so
I'd like a lot more.
I don't know.
What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know, because I'm kind of contradicting myself, because I'm saying I like the downvote button on Reddit, but
the basic thing is you're allowed to. That's your thing. You're making a good point. You downvoting someone just saying I don't agree with your opinion. That's it. Yeah. You're allowed to disagree with someone's opinion.
Right.
Like I don't think Leslie Jones shouldn't be able to make jokes about white people. I don't give a fuck. Make jokes about white people. I've been listening to people make jokes about white people my entire life. Most of them are very funny. But what happened was as soon as race got brought up against her, now granted this was serious, that was crossing the line. And when we're talking about free speech, I guess that's what we're talking about at this point. Twitter is it is. If you think about it, Twitter is the quintessential example of free speech and its best and its absolute worst.
Yeah.
Because the best, and people can say this is not the best, but the best part of free speech is you can basically say whatever the fuck you want, and you're allowed to do so. You're allowed to have an opinion that's different than everybody else's if you want to. The worst is that you can go on and say fucked up shitty things to people just because you don't like them.
Yeah.
Now it's a touchy subject, free speech, because you go, okay, well, where do we cross the line from free speech into we shouldn't allow that to be free speech because it incites violence, riots, hatred?
Well, that's where like Twitter has their private. It's their website. They have the right to have this conduct policy and say like we're not going to tolerate this stuff.
Sure.
But I mean, it comes down to whether or not they're going to enforce it or not, and whether or not people are actually going to listen to them. And like, first of all, it's impossible to enforce like wholly.
So he just makes another account. They just make another account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you hear about the live video monitoring on Facebook? How basically like what happened with people when they came out with it, there's a specific example of a guy being beheaded on a live Facebook
during the regional like Taliban that whole thing earlier back.
It wasn't too long ago. And then what they did is they hired a few thousand employees, I think, or maybe a few hundred to just like literally watch
and make sure nobody's
every time.
Oh, you're talking about the live feed feature?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a video being posted. So you're talking about people monitoring
like
live feeds.
Like going live on Facebook.
Got it. So that is pretty
because they basically can't do anything because it's live.
Yeah.
Like
they have to cut the feed. Yeah.
Right. So
how has there not been more porn and stuff then? That's
the thing. There probably is. I mean, so they hired people to just watch, I guess, just watch the
weird
feeds.
Job.
And it's weird. And I mean, it's like, that's the thing. They hold with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. Twitter has, millions of users and Facebook has billions of users. And if they're going to introduce a feature like live video, then they better be ready for what's going to happen, what people are going to post live. So it's really up to them. I mean, if they're going to enforce their conduct policies, if they're going to. So we got a Twitter, and if you tweet shit at us that we don't like, we're going to report you. No, I don't know.
I'll just tell you go fuck yourself. Just tweet whatever you want. That's the thing is that's my point. I hope that part came across. I think Leslie Jones can tweet whatever the fuck she wants. Like if you want to tweet about white people, what's funny to me
we didn't say is that she left Twitter after all of it.
She came back though. She came back.
She did?
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But my point is that I actually get to go through Breitbart, which makes me feel dirty inside, to see her posting basically borderline racist tweets that they don't offend me, but she's mad that these people are being racist against her, and it's levels of racism and levels of free speech. Do I think it's okay for like thousands of people to tweet at you and be dicks? No. But isn't that what happens with like Taylor Swift's Mafia or whatever? Is that like something that they did? Like they all got
so
mad.
Stupid that there are like social media
Beefs.
Posses.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there a whole thing between
dumb.
like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, and weren't they like attacking each other on Twitter? And I'm like, God, I'm so glad I'm not on Twitter.
I really.
And then
don't
you
care.
just had to make us a Twitter. You son of a bitch.
I know. We're gonna live tweet the VMAs tonight.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, we're not. So yeah, Twitter. Follow us at @the_UAP.
And we'll try to not seem so serious about it going forward. So I had something I wanted to bring up really quickly. It was going to be a rapid fire, but I feel like it's going to take longer than a minute.
Okay.
So I was at Costco buying the TV on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited in line, and somebody was like, hey, do you want to cut in front of me? And I was like, well, I need to renew my membership, so I don't want to like take too long, so go ahead. And she's like, oh, well, that's nice of you. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, and if it had taken too long, I probably got mad at you anyway. So we were laughing.
Okay.
But I get to the thing, and they kept apologizing for how long everything was taking. And they kept saying, I'm really sorry for this. I'm really sorry for this. I'm really sorry it's taking too long. I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. I came to Costco at 11:30 on a Saturday. Like, I knew what I was getting myself into. And it reminded me of a couple situations lately where people are fucking dicks, where they just like, they show up somewhere that you know is going to be busy at a busy time, and then they get mad that they're not able to just go in, do what they want to, and leave.
It's like the people who like try to like cut around people and switch lanes in
Traffic.
During rush hour.
Yeah.
Because you're
It's
like,
like, okay,
rush hour should be taking shorter for me.
Yeah.
Because
I was at the fucking bank, and it was either Friday or a Monday, I can't remember, which automatically, as soon as you say into the bank on a Monday or a Friday, you should know it's going to be busy. Actually, you know what it was? It was the Tuesday after a holiday. That's what it was. I think this was back during 4th of July or something.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and I walk in, and I go, I know this is going to take forever. I'm making a deposit. I have to go inside. So, and this is for work. And one of the things that Wells Fargo has been trying to do lately is they really try to like personalize their service. So they want you to like know that they know your name. They want to get to know you. They want to kind of chit chat with you, which fine, whatever. They're really trying to, they're trying to make up for all the money they stole from people.
It sounds cringy.
So yeah, but when you're a company who's known for like opening millions of accounts and stealing money from people, they're trying to do anything they can.
Yep.
So, I'm in line, and I'm probably 3 or 4 people back, and I'm on my phone. I'm like, fuck it. We're here. I'm in line. It is what it is. And then like 3 or 4 people walk in, and one guy kind of walks in and looks, and you just see him kind of like get upset already. And then he's like in line 2 people. He's like, what? No, he's right behind me. And he starts sighing.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh God, this guy's gonna be a fucking handful. And the thing is, it was noon or 12:15. So 12:15, first day back from a holiday, this guy decides to go walk into the bank. So he's probably on his lunch. People that are working at the bank are probably on their lunch.
Yeah.
And you can see how he's visibly starting to get upset.
Yeah.
And there's 2 or 3 people helping customers. So it's not like there's nobody there, but he's mad that people are being friendly. So one of the guys is like, kind of like, as he's processing the deposit, he's like, oh, so how's business going? And you hear the guy go, excuse me, there are people in line here. And I'm like, what the fuck?
At that tone of...
Oh, just like that. Just like that. Not exaggerating even a little bit.
God.
And I kind of like look up at him, and I kind of take a step to the right. I'm like, fuck this guy. And this guy goes, sorry, sir, I'm just finishing up his deposit. He goes, I understand, but do you need to be so friendly? You guys don't need to have small talk. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
And the guy who's being helped could have turned around and been like, fuck you, buddy. Instead, he turns around and goes, hey, I'm the owner of a restaurant. Here's my card. I'm sorry that I'm making this take so long. Come in and have a free appetizer on me.
Oh my God.
Which is really nice of him. And the guy goes, no thanks. I don't need.
Might as well bent over and give him some lube.
But the thing is that he was being nice. He didn't have to be, right? Like realistically, the guy that's being helped at the counter, finishing his deposit, could have turned around and said, "Fuck you, I'm being helped." Instead, he turned around, offered the guy an appetizer, which went above and beyond him even needing to be nice to the guy.
That's true.
It wasn't like he was shooting the shit like, "Hey, so about them?" None of that. He was actively doing the paperwork. I could see him doing it.
So well, but how did the guy react to that?
He turned around and gives him the card. He goes, no. I don't need anything from you. No thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
See, that's what happens.
Yeah. So the guy goes, all right, sorry. Goes back up to the counter. So then the girl who's a personal banker, because I know she's a personal banker, she can't do the deposits in the thing, but she can like help you set up stuff, right?
Okay.
She walks over and she goes, hey, I'm really sorry for the wait. To everybody, I really appreciate your patience. If anybody needs help with accounts outside of making deposits, I'd be happy to help. And he goes, "Who are you?" And she goes, "Well, I'm the manager on Data. Are you the manager?" And she goes, "Well, no, I'm a banker. I'd be happy to help if I can." He's like, "Well, I'm making a deposit." She goes, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't help." And he goes, "Well, I'd like to make a complaint." And she goes, "Okay, well, what's the complaint?" He goes, "I don't know what's up with you guys and needing to talk to people and be friends. We're not supposed to be friends. This is business. I need to do my business." And I'm literally like standing there going, "Don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything." Because in my head, I'm just thinking, dude, do you think you're the only one here on business? I'm wearing a fucking tie. I'm standing in front of you. I've been here longer than you have, and I'm not being a punt about it. So what the fuck? Like, chill the fuck out. And it makes me think of every time you go to like the post office and people get mad. People get mad that the DMV, you know it's going to take a long time. Mm-hmm. Don't go on a goddamn fucking Monday and expect it to be fast. If you go on payday to the bank, it's going to take a while.
Yep.
And I'm standing there at Costco realizing that these people are apologizing to me because more often than not, that's the attitude they're getting.
It seems like for some reason people are forgetting that things in the world and in your life sometimes take time.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta fucking deal with that.
Yeah.
Like a fucking adult.
Oh, God.
And not whine and scream like a child until you get what you want.
Yeah, and if you do go in and you do behave yourself and you don't throw a hissy fit, you really shouldn't hashtag adulting if you were just a basic common human being.
Well, what's funny is that when you started talking about this, what I was going to say, like, is the one time that I do get upset is when a customer is taking longer than they really need to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, we're all waiting too. Can you please, like, try to make it easier for us? Because sometimes that happens. Like, you'll get stuck with someone who is just, like, needlessly asking a lot of questions or, like, just taking longer than they should.
Yeah.
And
it's usually, like, a younger person that you're like, you could have looked that up online first. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's why Amazon exists.
And as a customer myself, like, when I'm, like, in front of a huge line, like, I'll try to, like, make it easier.
You feel hurried?
Yeah, well, not just that, but I'll try to make it easy so that
I will do it to myself.
I'm conscious of the people waiting behind me. But that guy, like, if he took a while, he wouldn't care if anyone behind him screamed at him like he did at the people before him. So, like, it's really
quick tack on story though of someone making me feel like I'm being the dick.
Sure.
As I'm at Costco, I buy my TV. I have to pull up to the front because I'm renewing my membership. It was like in a different area.
Yeah.
I got the last 55-inch of the TV that they had. They had plenty to 65, so I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need to spend the extra money. Just give me the 55. I'm happy.
Okay.
It's the last one. I have it on my cart, and it's a big TV, so it's on one of the flatbed carts, so it's standing there. It's precarious. Like, I'm like, dude, please don't fall over, because if that breaks, I'm fucked. Like, there's no more TVs here for me to get.
Right.
As I'm standing there, I turn around, and this dude with his wife and his kid's probably nine or so.
Okay.
And they're getting their membership set up, so they're walking around me to go over to the area where they take your picture. Okay. The kid jumps up onto my flatbed cart, swings over on it, pulls it away from me, steps on the cart, and I went, whoa, buddy. Because I'm like, if it moves any more, the TV's going to tip over.
He got onto your cart?
He climbed onto where the handlebars are. So picture orange handlebars and then a flatbed cart in front of it with a TV standing up.
Why? Just for fun?
Because he's a dumb shit kid. I don't fucking know. I'm just like, hey, buddy, that's, hey, be careful. And the dad looks at me and goes, it's okay. He just saw you on the phone and wanted to play with you. I'm like, first off, don't make me feel like I'm being a dick by asking your kid not to jump on my shit. Secondly, your kid could have tipped over a fucking expensive TV and you wouldn't have paid for it. And third, control your shit. Control your kid. Like, what are you doing? How am I the asshole?
I don't know.
And I could see him over there talking to his wife doing the whole, like, that guy, getting mad about it. And I'm like, dude, that's where we're at. I literally just said, oh, hey, careful, buddy. That's literally all I said. And it was like, I screamed at his kid and then like the sarcastic, passive aggressive, your kid shouldn't play with strangers.
I don't even know what to say. This is just really frustrating.
Yeah, but that's where we're at now. That's the fucking world we live in. Like, I have to apologize for being upset that your kid may break
Apparently we're like grumpy old men. When I thought we're just being I figured we're just being reasonable and trying to like look at things from a okay perspective, just like being, fair about things. But the more we talk about shit like this, the more I think like apparently we're the unreasonable ones.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the funny
we're
thing about
the
our
insensitive
podcast
people
is we are now. It's not us saying we're unreasonably angry. I think that the show now is people looking at us and saying, "You guys are being unreasonably angry."
We call this the reasonably, and then we just call it unreasonable for everyone else. Thanks for listening to episode 22 of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and review us on iTunes, Facebook, or Twitter. Follow us again at @the_UAP.
And if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, want to chime in on anything we talked about today, feel free to leave us a message on any of those public sites or shoot us an email at unreasonablyangrypodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, my name is Eric.
And I'm Gary.
Stay angry and enjoy Game of Thrones, fuckers.